why don't we go through the possibility of it being a 30-06? And just so, in case everybody, hasn't heard yet, a rep from TPUSA put out this big, long message on X saying that they spoke with the surgeon, and the surgeon said that Charlie's neck was like the man of steel because
his bone density was so dense.
Yeah. The 30-06 was nothing compared to Charlie's neck. And
the surgeon even said this round could kill a moose or two, which, by the way, I have a 30-06 sitting right here that has killed a moose. But Charlie's Wolverine neck stopped the round. That's the official. That's from Turning Point. Yeah. Not a random person.
So I think there's a couple of things to unpack here. One, I'm not going to say it's miracles don't happen.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I think anything, in reason is possible.
That's what you just said there is very important though for the viewer to understand.
Yeah.
Within reason.
Yeah, within reason, because I've talked about it on my main show a couple of times, but every time I've shot anything that is bigger, wider, stronger, tougher skin, more bones than a neck, a human neck. It didn't matter if it hit bone. It didn't matter if it fragmented. There was always an exit. And a 30-06, I mean, he was, for everyone listening and not watching the video, he's got 2 rounds here. One's a 5.56, one's 30-06.
Let's show the 5.56 first, and then we'll put up the 30-06 on top of it. That's just, and what I want people to understand. Let me say from a combat perspective from Global War on Terror, watching what we use in our M4s is 5.56, right? Having seen a lot of induced. I don't want to get too graphic, but a lot of induced high-powered rifle rounds of the 5.56 into the human body. There's a saying called canoeing someone, right? Canoeing someone's skull. We could laugh about it. There's a funny meme from Global War on Terror said that Daesh don't surf, they canoe. And the joke is, right, you hit somebody in the forehead with a 5.56 round, and it will canoe their skull in, guys. That is the crown of a skull of a human being that is the strongest bone in the human body, close to the sternum. And this 5.56 round will potentially blow that apart. Now we're talking about a round twice the size, moving at as equal or faster velocity, hitting an area in the human neck, which, first of all, if we want to talk about, I'm sure you've talked about the human vertebrae on your channel, but human vertebrae is one of the most delicate bones in the body, guys, because it's not even thick all the way through because your spinal cord is running through it, right? It's super flexible. It's malleable because our neck has to do all these different things. A round that can go through elk bone at 400 meters. Well, you want to tell me that Charlie Kirk's neck, his little neck vertebrae, stopped this round? This thing is gigantic. Okay? You can kill a moose with it, kill a black bear with it. That's not possible. So when you said within reason, this is no longer within reason from 150 yards on a human body. It's not possible. Now, I've seen people try to get into weird, well, what if it was a repacked round with only 100 grain, and then it also had a frangible tip and all this crazy shit. And it's what makes me say, please stop to that is now what you're doing is you're trying to bring in all the craziest, weirdest, niche, austere possibilities to fit a narrative to make it make sense. Rather than looking at this and going, let's forget about the 30-06. What makes sense here? Well, if we just look at it without the FBI story at all, okay, the 30-06 story goes out the window. No one would ever go, yep, he got shot in the throat with a 30-06 and it didn't go through. Not a thing.
Yeah, I touched on that on a previous video I did, but I have a lot of back injuries from rodeo.
I bet.
It is not, it is not a I mean, you said it best. It's very flexible. And I
Mm-hmm.
talked about it in a video. It's not like your femur. That's just this real thick, strong bone. It's not just one bone all the way through. There's discs in there, there's cartilage, there's all this
It's
stuff.
separated by discs.
Right.
Yep.
So and discs, I mean, I have a bunch of herniated discs. It's really not that hard to herniate a disc just by, I mean, people do it running all the time. People do it, falling in a sitting position. That's how I did it a couple of times rodeo, and I would fall off a horse and or land in a sitting position, and it just compresses everything.
We do that a lot in
And
skydiving too. If you don't
yeah,
land right.
oh, I
Yeah.
imagine.
Yeah.
I imagine. But just to think, one, like clearly they didn't review the post before, because if that's truly what happened, I still wouldn't put that out, because it just doesn't, the possibility of that, I think, would be well below 1%.
Ooh, I
Well
know.
below. Like,
I know. Yeah. Yeah. So I've tried to give some grace to this as I've thought it through. Let's just say, like, because again, like, this is a 22-year-old college kid who you're not going to convince me is out there reloading his own ammo, and he's quantifying the perfect amount of grain to not have an exit wound through Charlie's neck, and having, okay, I got to get frangible ammo with the small grain to get, like, I'm sorry, like, someone like me probably wouldn't even be thinking about shit like this if I'm going to carry out assassination, right? He's going to potentially take it from his grandpa or his dad's. We're assuming that this kid's the shooter, from his dad or grandpa's ammo with the gun, right? Which is going to be full metal jacket, 30-06 ammo. And if we're assuming just a regular 30-06 with a regular full metal jacket round, there is, and I want to make this clear to everyone, because you hear this, right? And we say this all the time in war, bullets do funny things. Let me give some context. Bullets do funny things. If, let's say, I shot this 30-06 round into an elk and it hit the scapula of the elk and bounced off and hit another really thick bone, maybe it doesn't pass through. We're talking about a human neck with a 30-06 round with a full metal jacket tip. There is a 0.0% chance, not even a Powerball's chance, that this round does not produce an exit wound on a human neck. Okay, I want the viewers to understand that. It's not possible. Now, we could get into weird things with repacked ammo and minus grains and frangible tips. Sure, okay, now you're getting into 1-2%. But just if we're taking it at the FBI's word, not a thing, dude. It's just not possible.
I think the argument for like the frangible tips and all that stuff is not a great one either, because if you are going to pick any kind of ammo, like special kind of ammo, you would have to think at a, high profile event, the guy's wearing body armor, or at least assume it. So if you're going to pick any kind of round, it would be armor piercing, definitely not frangible ammo. You'd want something that's getting through something. So that argument is horrible.
Yeah, you're actually right. Like, I'm picking the one type of round that potentially doesn't kill my target. Why would I do that? And why would I lower the grain weight? Why would I make the velocity less if I'm trying to kill this person?
Yeah, it just doesn't make that much sense. But I don't know. I mean, I think then we get into, was the hole in the front of the neck truly the entry?
I don't think so at this point. No.
Yeah,
but
yeah,
I mean, I want to stop myself, because I'm not trying to, I tell everybody this in every video. I don't have the answers. I'm trying my best to take my perspective and my knowledge and apply it to what I'm seeing. So there's no conclusive that this is an entrance or exit wound, but from what I'm seeing, this doesn't appear to be an entrance wound. I should say it that way.
Yeah, I think a guy, I forget the name. I think it's like Range Day Bro.
It's very good video.
Big video. And I touched on it as well. And you could definitely see something shoot out the side of his neck. It looks like just a glob of fluid. And then potentially, they got it in the frame where his neck looks stretched. And then from there, obviously, all the blood starts gushing out. But for me, I don't know. I mean, I've ran through most of the footage out there. There's apparently more footage coming out. A couple of other YouTubers have some more. And now they're saying it looks more like it's, he was shot in the front. I think still the question is, regardless if it's an entrance or an exit, the fact that I mean, if it's not a 30-06 round, right? If it's not a 30-06, this entire story blows up in their face because they showed the gun. It's in the police report.
And that's their problem.
So then where do they go? Where do they go from there? Do they just say, oh, we found a gun in the woods and it was just a random gun?